This is very red light. All right, so wow. Okay, there's no sunlight today. Um, since I can't do anything with the rest of the Star Destroyer because it's now covered in oil paints and I can't touch it for the next 4 or 5 days, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the other spaceships that came with it. So I've got the tiny little Tanta 4 and the tiny little Falcon. So I think I'm going to do the Tanta 4 in that one darker gray because it looks a lot closer to that color. And then I'll probably do the Falcon the same color if I'm honest. Because at that scale, nobody's going to notice or care. And then it'll take a whole lot of fine detail painting. So something I'm getting slightly better at. But I think I'm going to assemble the tiny things, or at least the tiny Tanta 4. Try saying that 5 times fast. Tiny Tanta 4. Give it a quick spray, let it dry for about 10 minutes. And I'm doing laundry. I'm also watching Punish Props make Boba Fett helmets or Mandalorian style helmets, so that's pretty fun. Oh, by the way, this is the little switch you're supposed to use once it's assembled. So you got to take the top off and then reassemble it. Or use the switch to flip it. I kind of wish there was just a small like access port you could just be like, kind of situation. But that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to work on tiny spaceships because I can't work on the big ones. And I'm not going to do any kind of crazy washes, just detail stuff to these. So yeah, that's my plan for today because it's going to get super cold and super rainy today. So I got to do what I can right now in the early morning since it's my day off. That's what I'm going to do. Alright guys, so it's been a couple days, and last time we checked in, I was going to paint these. I did. And you can see here, I've added some red paint, some base gray color, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So, and then the Falcon was done the same way. Where is my focus? There we go. And just tiny detail paints, enough to at least show what it is. I tried to dry brush it a little bit. Like, I clear coated it and everything. I tried to dry brush to make it look a little bit more worn, and did not come out as good as I wanted it to. I did also throw some weathering powder at it to make them dirtier. So, those came out pretty good. I was just mad that so the Gundam marker red bled really badly even after being clear coated. So, note to self: Tamiya paint is stronger than clear coat at that point. Now, I did check it, and these things do appear to be dry, or at least the base does, because it's a little bit thinner coat. But I needed the base to be done so that I can go ahead and put the frickin' lights in and go ahead and start assembling things. That is where I've been, like, just itching and ready to go. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the whole light setup because it's all self-contained in the base. The top is just, well, essentially a cover. So I can do all that separately. The other thing I wanted to do is kind of once I get there. Oh, by the way, I did manage to glue that little piece back on. It's not quite exactly right. Now, one thing, it didn't cover any instructions, but I think it can actually clamp around the Tanta 4, but I'm not sure. It almost looks like it would fit, like, right here-ish. I don't think it's in the instructions, though. But basically, one thing I wanted to do, so I've still got a little bit of the base insignia white color. I still got some of that, and I've got just the tiniest amount of the light blue Luftwaffe, which is the panel, or the Aztecing part. And what I want to do is do just a hint of dry brushing over some of the darker, or the areas that got really dark. So just kind of dry brush a little bit here, maybe here on a corner, stuff like that. And then I'll also add a little bit of weathering powder to like do some streaking or even some weapon hits, stuff like that. And then maybe just a little discoloration of some rust kind of spread out a little bit in a few places. I might blend the rust in with a little bit of the white. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I don't want to go crazy with it. I just want to add a little bit. Like, see how it got real dark, like right through here? Like, just kind of lightly dry brush that. But because I want to make sure I protected the surface of everything and the table is dirty, I put down these paper towels so that I can work. I'm just excited that at least the base, because the base wasn't nearly as heavily weathered as the top. The top half is probably the dirtier part. So I'm going to set up the camera. And we're going to time-lapse the lighting system because that's like the most complex part. Just trying to coil things and run it where it's supposed to go, stuff like that. And then I've got like all my extra bits and pieces over there. Actually, and the instructions are in the living room. I gotta remember to get those. And then once I'm done with like weathering and stuff like that, I can clear coat. And I was thinking about doing some spectral highlighting. Like I was just gonna matte coat it, but I think what I might do, because I have matte and semi-gloss and even gloss, um, I may just take little areas, tape them off, and um, see what would make more sense, gloss or I think it'd make more sense to gloss coat and then flat coat. I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be maybe the other way. So maybe matte coat everything and then like just take some small areas and do like a couple smaller squares and just do some gloss coat. Gotta think about which way this would work better. No, that actually makes sense to reverse that. So gloss coat, then do tiny squares, then matte coat. Same way, the reverse of the Aztecing, basically. The Aztecing looks really good, I'm not gonna lie. It came out so much nicer. Look at that. Either way, so I'm excited that I can actually work on it. I was expecting it to still be kind of goopy. I still think some of the thicker areas might be, but for what I need to do, it's way better than, being super wet like it was. All right, so that was actually more of a chore than I thought it would be. So, having to run the lights and plug them into these little things, and then, the little retaining kind of clips here, and then tucking the extra wire underneath is so silly. Like, because they have you tape that shit down. Then they're like, no, you got to cram this under there. I like how they use this nice reflective stuff. It's not even mirrored, it's just reflective enough. And the light actually bounces off of it. Though I gotta make sure, I guess, that it's not shoved down too far, or else it's not gonna work. Um, Actually, you know what? Now that I look at it, okay, so I'm trying to figure out. So this light here is, hold on, is shining under this to get to here. This light is reflecting off of all of this to come out the side. So, hold on, let me turn it on so you can see this practical application. Look at that. You can come all the way to the front, and you got light poking out. That's crazy. Same thing down back here, you know. And then the other lights for the thrusters and whatnot are right there. And then this piece will go in next. Oh, look at that, just like that. So let's see here. Hold on. Actually, it's not telling me to do that just next. But I wanted to see. Okay, so I have to get the next part in, and then I can do that. Okay. I'm just getting antsy because I just want to put this part in. So I've got to put in these parts, the next reflective layer, so that'll actually help bleed the light out. Other parts, so it's only using a couple lights to make this work, so this is actually neat. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, so that's those done. I accidentally trapped the eye wire, which is one of the bridge wires. But like, you can come back here. That's awesome. I like that they made those blues that actually look like the thrusters. That's just really freaking cool. But this is where I kind of wanted to add like a little bit of gloss in there, but I think it looks fine. Let's see, what's next? Okay, so I need to add, just continue this. Okay, so this is supposed to go up and under. Yeah, so that's supposed to go up and under the top piece, like that. So it's gonna lay here. So that's gonna make it extra shiny. That's realistically all that's gonna do. So that's kind of cool. All right, what else? All right, so I mean, technically I can put it on. I mean, it's a little bit still a little wet. But that will give me the ability to go ahead and finish this part, because I can actually get this bit, which is this guy here. I can actually get that in there. The only problem is I'll have to remove the top center section, which is iffy. Okay, hold on. When do I put... I'm just like looking at it. When do I put that in there? It goes here, right? Oh, it tells me right there. Okay, so let me just go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna bother time-lapsing this part. Okay, so that's not sitting down all the way. And there's a big gap right here in that lid. That's not supposed to be like that. That's awesome. There should be... Oh, yeah. That's cool. Pain in the butt. But cool. Got the light underneath. Turn off. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a major issue, though, right through here. So that's going to need to be squeezed down quite a bit. But it looks cool. It's still not dry, so I've got some oil on my hands. But obviously, I'm going to have to deal with some of these issues, like that giant crack, things like that. But other than that, it works.